Hello everybody and welcome back to Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader. Last time we had a bit of an assassination attempt in our bathroom. Lamau just kind of got covered in blood. Nothing too serious, but they do want to check it out here. And when I tried to go to the officer's deck here, they actually... I played a different cutscene that I completely forgot about. So we're going to try it again. We're going to be going to the officer's deck here. We're going to be taking our entire crew. And it seems like we're actually going to be taking care of a business this time with the assassination attempt in particular. So we'll see what happens. Apparently the blood was just mutated or something like that, but nothing too harmful to us. Just people doing something they shouldn't, apparently. But we'll see what comes of it. I clicked any button, please. Okay, Sourback barks at the officers gathered before you. His lordship, the Rogue Trader, has seen fit to honor us with his presence in order to monitor the course of the investigation. You are expected to perform your duties immaculately and report your every step to me. Should any of your actions bring shame to the enforcers, you will answer to me personally. Oh, good one. Lord Captain, the 3 officers before you, okay, have been tasked with conducting the investigation. The first, Captain Klein, is a veteran with a record of quelled uprisings of mutant abominations in the colony. Captain Jinvuri is young, but she has already preempted several mutinies among the ship's rabble. Lastly, there's Captain Rodko. His interrogation skills deserve credit, and he knows how to instill fear and respect firmly into the minds of the riffraff. After careful assessing the officers' bearing and their uniforms, Abelard nods with satisfaction. Their drilling is good. Their service records are excellent. Let's see how they perform in the field. What are your findings thus far? We have discovered a worker's corpse, mutilated and desiccated. Oof. We are still looking into the man's identity and position, but the Chirurgeons? I have no idea what that word is. Report has confirmed that among the blood that was pumped into the your bath chamber, the blood carried mutations was indeed his. The workers from the nearby decks have all been checked for genetic aberrations, but the mutations identified are all within the norm of laboring masses. They're being rounded up for interrogation as we speak. Aw, she's over there frowning. They're all just sitting in different positions around the room. She frowns as she surveys the deck. So much noise and empty violence. I'm surprised you are able to find anything in this pandemonium of your own making. Even taking into account the neighboring decks only, that constitutes hundreds of people. How do you plan to question them all? Our interrogation techniques are broad and varied. However, nothing loosens the tongue like corporal punishment, beatings, mutilations, torture, public executions. Sourback almost purrs as she lists ways of making people suffer. When combined with psychological pressure, such methods work wonders. It is inhumane. I order that you immediately cease using these barbaric methods. A fine approach, I approve. An unfortunate necessity. Let us return to the other matters. Damn. I really don't want to be telling her how to do her job, because this is Warhammer 40K. I gotta remember that, but I don't want people to be suffering like this, bro. Lord Captain, these methods may be brutal, but their effectiveness has been proven over centuries of practice. No criminal will confess if you ask them politely, but if you shatter their fingers and courteously remind them how many unshattered bones they still have left in their body, that is a different conversation altogether. That is how the truth is born. I have faith that my master of arms is capable of finding other methods of seeking out the truth. I gave you an order, now do it. Entirely true, in that case, carry on. I have faith in you. Sarbeck's glove creaks as she grips her maul. Her gaze remains cold and calm. As you command, Lord Captain. Do you have any working theories? The mutants are plotting. Klein spits in disgust. They've been breeding like void rats, so they're getting cocky. I didn't even notice all these people writing. Look at all this writing they're doing. Jesus Christ. Carpal tunnel central. Must have wanted to infect your lordship with their plague. It wasn't an attempt on your lordship's life. It was a threat. The rabble are planning a revolt, so they're trying to terrorize us. Soon you will drown in blood. Insurgents pride themselves on such metaphors. Meanwhile, Captain Hiroto is convinced that it was the work of Voitiver, I can't remember how they say his name, surviving cultists. However, I believe this to be a warning rather than a threat. What we need to establish is who is trying to warn us and of what. What do you propose we investigate first? The body. Once we have ascertained the dead man's identity, we will be able to locate his associates and narrow down the number of suspects. Captain Klein is in charge of examining the corpse. Yes, your lordship. I'm almost done with my report. As soon as I'm ready, I'll deliver it to you. Then let's begin. While we wait Klein to report back, please enjoy the refreshments that have been prepared for you, Lord Captain. End dialogue. Drink, drink, drink. Eat, eat, eat. Drink, drink, drink. Eat, eat, eat. And they're done. Captain Klein snaps to attention. Identifying the victim has proven impossible. His face has been smashed in and his body is badly maimed. There are too many wounds to determine the exact cause of death. But presumably, he died after the killer slit his throat. That's how they drained his blood. No external signs of mutation were found. In other words, we have nothing. Klein this isn't a report. It's a declaration of our incompetence before the Lord Captain. You will keep digging around inside the corpse until you have produced some results. I'll study their faces. Success. Ginevri looks at Klein with sympathy. She clearly cares about him, but does not wish to trample on her comrade's honor with words of comfort. Roto regards Klein with a contemptuous smirk, while Klein scowls back at him. No external signs of mutilation, you say. Mutation, you say. What about internal signs? Performing an autopsy was inadvisable due to the danger of contaminating the area with genetic aberration. Awareness text succeeded. You see a flash of genuine horror in Klein's eyes before he turns his gaze glassy. Okay. You've seen that look before in the eyes of other veterans. It's the expression of someone reliving painful memories that have left behind deep scars. They cannot hope to overcome such trauma on their own. They would need help, or a partner, or perhaps some strong emotional stimulus. I've heard that Medicaid officers often perform autopsies in pairs. One cups up the body, the other records their findings. You should get a partner, Klein. Whereas, turn away from Klein. It would seem that I had an exaggerated opinion of the veteran's courage. He should get some rest. Oh, fuck. Let Horko take over his duties. No, get a partner. According to regulations, one enforcer is required for this duty. However, your lordship's proposal is reasonable. Did you have someone specific in mind? Let's give it to her. If she actually likes him, she would be an excellent choice. You catch Genevieve's... Genevieve? I'll just say Genevieve. A grateful look then watches as she smiles encouragingly at Klein. Come on, Klein. You better teach the greenhorns how to carve up mutants. I'll grab us a pair of respirators to make sure we don't catch anything. Klein is up to his elbows in blood, his eyes flaring defiantly. I've examined the filth inside and out. Its innards are a genetic nightmare. It's a bag of corruption wrapped in human skin. Extra organs, scales, atrophied, ingrown limbs. And that's not what's important, but that's not what's important. Body was mutilated to hide the cause of death. Okay, the body was disfigured posthumously. They killed the mutant with surgical precision before opening its throat and draining its blood. It wasn't until after the actual murder that they crushed his head and tried to cover up his wounds. The wounds were so brutal I almost missed his work tattoo. The victim was a pipe warden and found this in his throat. Klein presents a bloodstained raven feather. Imperium lore test succeeded. A certain legend springs to mind, one involving Saint Curine, who was granted the portent of enemies hiding among the faithful. When Curine prayed to the Emperor for a sign that might reveal the traitors, a raven's feather burst out of her mouth to inscribe the names of the conspirators. Only someone versed in the symbology of the Imperium would have left such a message. Okay. For what purpose was the corpse mutilated? It is imperative we find whoever mutilated the body. Remember St. Corinne? Could this be a sign? What tattoo? What does the pipe wardens have to do with anything? Fine, I wish to gift you with a glass of Amasec for your good work. You look like you need it. Well, at least you did something useful on your second attempt. Jesus Christ. So this is Klein. I'm guessing this is her, and then this is the dude that hates him. So whatever. Remember St. Curine? Could this be a sign? Vile mutants do not make allusions to saints. This was someone versed in the creed. Okay, for what purpose was the corpse mutilated? Someone wanted to hide the cause of death. What I fail to understand is why they would then leave the body out in the open instead of disposing of it. What tattoo? What do the pipe wardens have to do with anything? Pipe wardens are a worker clan that services the ship's sewer systems. Jesus Christ. That's a lot of S's. The tattoo indicates the worker's status and personal number. This one was SP24601. Senior pipe warden. It is imperative we find whoever mutilated the body. I concur. Would you like to give us specific instruction, Lord Captain? Look for a lunatic. Only a madman would butcher a corpse in this way. One cannot disfigure a body like that and stay clean. Look for any blood-stained garments, rags, or the like. We need to find a weapon. The weapon or object was used to mutilate the corpse. Specifics are merely an impediment to flexible thinking. Follow your heart. Look for... Yeah, someone can't smash your skull in and stay clean. She nods firmly. If the perpetrator was in a hurry to cover out their tracks, they may not have had time to dispose of the soiled clothing. I thank your lordship for your wise counsel. I wish to give you a glass of Amasec for your good work. You look like you need it. He accepts the glass and downs it instantly. Evidently, he is in no state to savor the banquet and taste the fine drink you have offered him. So what's our next step? We should run the victim's identification number through the masterwork log cogitator. If the machine spirits favor us, we will be able to narrow down the number of suspects. Genevieve, this is your area. Okay, receive the report on the Master's cogitator logs. Genevieve approaches you, followed by a dignified woman in crimson robes. Allow me to introduce the esteemed tech priest, Adaverita Fee. Andraveta Fee? I don't know. She believes she has the right to obstruct this investigation and refuse to grant the enforcers access to the master cogitator. The tech priest lets out an indignant binaric trill. I request that the laywoman's willful activities to be halted. She intends to torment the machine spirits of the master's work log cogitator, Iota IIIB. The venerable spirit is ill and in no disposition to endure such abuse. What is the problem with the machine spirit? The spirit is old and quick to anger, and it therefore calls for a sensitive approach, not the torturous intrusions by a brutish laywoman. Since the start of this watch, the spirit has been unwell. So we've been trying to smooth its woes by applying sacred unguents and sensing the great machine's boards. I don't know what any of that means. The dogma of data recuperative quarantine prohibits any disturbances to blessed machines found to be in such a state. What exactly does the data recuperative dogma prescribe? Let no profane hand touch the sacred machine stricken. Let the mechanisms be shielded from all worldly troubles by a veil of righteous litany, and let its shrine be thricely honored till the malady is no more. Okay. We have persuasion or coercion. Judging by her expression, she would rather have her profane hands touch the tech priest's neck. Lay people may be prohibited from communing with the machine spirits, but you are not. Esteemed tech priest, Genevieve will merely stand at your side and observe. Succeeded. Tech priest shoots her a sidelong glance. Very well, I should disturb the spirit, but I demand that the laywoman show respect and is do as she's told. Do as she's told. All right, what'd you find? Raising her hand, the tech priest wails, Omnissiah preserve us. The great spirit was infected by a layperson. That is the culprit you should be searching for, not some pipe warden. Sacrilege. We have discovered that the cogitator's malfunction began after an unauthorized attempt to access it was made. Someone deliberately angered the machine spirit in order to bury the work logs. Thankfully, the esteemed tech priest was able to appease the spirit and extract the information we needed. Excellent. The victim's name's Orto. On the day he died, he was servicing valve 27B, which supplies water to the rogue trader's bath chamber. He also had a partner who is yet to appear for duty since the incident occurred. We have a suspect. Did the murderer get to the cogitator too? Impossible. Since the state of the watch, this area has been used as a center of operations. No rabble could have slipped by unnoticed. Moreover, a common pipe warden wouldn't know how to commune with a machine spirit. The murderer had help. Who is the partner? Senior Pipe Warden Gwendon. Number SP-268-55. An 8th generation Pipe Warden. No registered infractions. Excellent discipline. Perfect work record. An exemplary servant of the Imperium. Man-at-Arms, how do you propose that we find our new suspects? Before Sourback can respond, Horto cuts in. Your lordship, there was a man named Gwendon among the rabble waiting to be interrogated. He immediately struck me as suspicious. Please allow me to question the man in your presence. Sourback narrows her eyes, but all she says is, bring him in now. Watch his interrogation. Senior Pipe Warden Gwendon. Before you stands a gaunt man in work clothes. His face is swollen from the bruises, and several of his fingers are broken and sticking out at odd angles. He stares vacantly into the distance with watery eyes. Start talking, you miserable wretch. You tried to kill the Lord Captain, didn't you? Order grabs the worker by the lapels. When his coat flies open, revealing crude, occult symbols painted all over his body. What's this? Heretical brands? Cultist scum? When he yells, baring what remains of his teeth. Yes, it was me. I tried to put a curse on the Lord Captain. I killed my partner in a wicked ritual, rubbed elbows with them demons, consorted with them. All to carry out a dark plot and doom the Lord Captain for the glory of my almighty master. He bursts into a fit of heretical, theatrical cackling. His words, he's trying to paint over them with fake garish hues. But his abject terror carries with it too much black and gray. What does he hope to accomplish with this? He admitted to everything, the vermin. I have insisted time and again that the assassination attempt was carried out by one of the Vortigern's surviving henchmen. And I was right. I guess we weren't so thorough in clearing them out as we thought. Erdo casts a sharp look at Sourback. Okay. Assess the Enforcer's reaction to the confession. Erdo looks proud and self-important. Genevieve is biting her nail, as if hesitant to say anything. Sourback is observing the worker in silence, apparently sunk deep in thought. Meanwhile, Klein merely stands still with a distrustful grimace on his face. Other than Horto, no one here seems to believe that you are looking at the real culprit. Persuasion? Why is he being beaten? I ordered the beatings to stop. My apologies, your lordship. This one was interrogated before your order was given. I will take responsibility for accepting that. For not anticipating that. Seems like Klein was too quick to blame the mutants. We are dealing with demon worshippers here. Does Master Arm not find it strange that the subject is so easier to paint himself as a heretic? And in such preposterous fashion, no less? I agree, Lord Captain. Sourback growls at the worker. I want the truth. Who are you? And who told you to give us this pathetic confession? The man blanches and starts bawling. He gives up on his sinister theatrics and babbles in the voice of a common worker. Forgive me, your lordship. I'm not Gwendon. I'm not a heretic. Yart's me name. I'm a laundryman. Please have mercy. They took my family. The enforcer said she'd throw them out the airlock if I don't confess. She made me draw these unholy marks on myself. Abelard casts significant glance at Sourback's direction. Your enforcers have a knack for persuasion, Mr. Sourback. Sourback? Yeah. Anyway. But this is ridiculous. What enforcer? Name. Giving her name. It was her. Oh. That's why she was biting her nail. What? I swear that I have not... Genevieve? The steely edge in Sourback's voice causes everyone present to freeze. But you also hear a note of bewilderment. We will deal with her later. I will handle the search for Gwendon myself, Lord Captain. Would you have us execute this demon worshipper? Execute? Truly no word sounds sweeter to this monkey's ears. Spare the man, wash off the heretical symbols, and let him rejoin his family. Hold on. He has lied to us more than once, and maybe he is lying to us now still. Do you have anything to say for yourself? Cut his rations for a month and have him scrub the lower decks after shifts. Burn him and his family along with him, but be sure to leave him for last. I don't care. I leave the decision to you. Does she have anything to say about this? I have never threatened his family, and I certainly did not force him to lie and draw heretical signs. I barely even remember his face. I may have interrogated him beforehand, but it was someone else who put him up to this. And yet he knows your name and pointed you right away. Do you not find that funny? And do you not find it funny that your head is always up your ass? It's obvious that someone framed her. Cease this bickering. Sourback forces the officers to back down. Lord Captain, what we have here is a liar, and a well-coached one at that. He will never confess on his own, but what do you suggest we do? He won't confess, we just need to apply a little more torture. And we need to change the approach. Bandage his wound and give him food. Talk to him gently and with kindness. I refuse to believe that there's not a single person who saw them being manhandled. Find those witnesses. Pensively take an appetizer. Faith changes people. Take a book of Psalms and read it to him until he confesses. Find witnesses. That makes sense? You cannot beat a man half to death without everyone in your compartment getting wind of such a scene. We will look into it. What do you want us to do with him when we are done? Give him back to his family. Wash the symbols off. It will be done. There's no cause for alarm, Lord Captain. This conspirator may have been fake, but now it is only a matter of time before we find the real culprit. We have the Pipe Warden's name and identification numbers, and we know which clan they are from. We will keep pressing the riffraff until either the culprit confesses or someone turns it in. I will handle this. Master-at-Arms pointedly grips the maul at her belt. Please enjoy your meal in the interim, Lord Captain. The scoundrel will appear before us soon enough. Okay, everybody needs to calm down, all right? Lord Captain, the real Pipe Warden Gwendon has been found and is being escorted here as we speak. Are there any remaining questions you wish to address before we hear Gwendon himself? You can start by reporting on the results of the additional investigative efforts. Absolutely, Lord Captain. Your insightful suggestion helped the enforcers to locate the evidence. In fact, we found a bloody synth coat in one of the vents. A standard issue included in every enforcer outfit on the ship. We found witnesses to the battery on our false conspirator. According to them, an enforcer in a helmet came to detain Yart, spoke to him, and then gave him a beating so thorough it rang that a ring came off their finger. Alas, said ring could not be recovered. This concludes my report. Someone attempted to mislead our investigation. We cannot let this go without consequences. Undoubtedly. Let us go over the facts we have on this sabotage and compile them. The body of the deceased was mutilated after death. It is likely that the nature of their injuries would have proven very useful in the investigation, and that the perpetrator concealed them for that very reason. Someone sabotaged the work log cogitator so that it would be harder for us to find the victim's partner, who might have information valuable to the investigation. Instead of the murdered man's partner, we were given a fool, one who thoroughly incriminated himself first after admitting that Captain Javari put him up to it. Sourback glowers at Javari, and she pales with fear. Who was guarding the body? Who had access to the work cogitator? Suspect Yart claims that you coerced him into lying about himself. Genervi? What do you have to say for yourself? I may have conducted his preliminary interrogation like so many others. Horto requested my assistance because of my experience in dealing with the rabble, but I swear that there is no truth in these accusations against me. I have never threatened his family, and I certainly did not force him to lie and draw heretical signs. I barely even remember his face. I may have interrogated him beforehand, but it was someone else who put him up to this. This transcript says you conducted Yard's interrogation alone. Why is that? Because I can handle a single laundryman. She raises her chin proudly. Okay. Witnesses saw Yard being knocked around by an enforcer wearing a ring. Let me see your hands. You're charged with sabotage and consequently sentenced to death. The enforcer takes off her gloves. Not one of them is wearing a ring. However, you do find a small mark on Hiroto's little finger, as if he had been wearing some sort of band on it for a long time. Are you no longer wearing your family ring, Portco? Klein gives him a bloodthirsty scowl. Not on duty, and certainly not in compartments full of disdained rabble. His voice is icily calm. Behind the armor of affected indifference, those thoughts ooze grimy hues, like blood mixed with umber. It looks vile. Who is guarding the body? It was her. Klein reluctantly nods to his fellow officer. I relieved her when I came to inspect the corpse, which by then had already been cut up. She nervously adjusts her armor under Saddleback's piercing gaze. The corpse was already looking like that when it came under my purview, but I could not get the name of the officer who discovered it. The deck was such a mess, I decided I would deal with it later. Bloody synth coat was discovered not far from the corpse. I would ask the enforcers in this room to present their coats. Uh-oh. The rustle of synthetic fabric fills the room. All the enforcers show their coats except Portco. He shrugs complacently under the gaze of his comrades. I do not wear it. An enforcer must be able to withstand the cold, and the serfs treat synth coats as a sign of weakness. Who has access to the log computer? Cogitator, sorry. Oh, jeez. The tech priest did not let anyone near the cogitator. They even tried to prevent enforcer investigations. You were there the entire time. Yes, ma'am. Hold on. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Since the start of the watch, I went there right after I handed over the body to Klein. The only time I stepped away was to retrieve the data slate from my quarters. I left a watchman, but he went missing. Most likely, one of the officers did not realize he was on duty and sent him off on some errand, but I was only gone for a few minutes. How convenient. A missing sentry, a data slate misplaced, against regulations. He drums his fingers on a holster on his belt, where his own data slate sits tightly nestled. He is such a fucking piece of shit, dude. Like, even if he's not the bad guy, like, him just being so out to get these people, I don't understand how I could have forgotten it. I always check my gear when I'm on duty. Damn, I want to say it's him, but he literally has a gun in his hand, too. Like, am I crazy? I don't want to accuse him, but he does seem to be the most aggressive. Fuck it. Draws her auto pistol and aims it at him, who appears entirely unperturbed. I would give you one chance to retain your last shred of honor and confess. You sabotaged the investigation. Why? Is it not obvious? He smugly arches an eyebrow. To expose the conspiracy myself and to prove his incompetence, your incompetence to his lordship. to take the place I actually deserve. For years, I toiled for the good of the dynasty, but when the former Master of Arm was killed, I was refused my promotion. Instead, they give the position to you, a self-serving sourback nit, who I guess a noble name means more than talent. When the crime occurred, I realized it was my chance to show what I was worth. While you were busy dallying, I quickly learned the name of the suspect, diverted the course of the investigation, an easy enough task, began looking for the real Gwendon. I had found him in time. Your position, had I found him in time, your position would have already been mine, Jacosta. Simply listen to yourself, and you will understand why they made me the Master at Arms. Lord Captain, I request permission to dispose of this refuse personally. Are you really hoping you can deceive the Master at Arms and me? Why are you trying to frame her? You do not seem to fear punishment. I will give you a chance, Portico. You are to be demoted and to become an initiate at the shrine, where you will spend the rest of your days in penance and servitude. For your crimes of sabotage, slander, and heresy, I hereby condemn you to death, Master at Arms carrying out the sentence. You are a liar and a blackguard, but I commend you for your intelligence. You have no need... I have no need for such enforcers, but I could use another spy. You will sow confusion among my rivals for the good of the dynasty. Ooh, that's an interesting choice. Were you really hoping to deceive me? Your dismissive tone makes him flinch with indignation. I had every chance, but you were shrewder than I expected. My little trick with the body did work. You still don't know who was behind it all. But I have already figured it out. I hid Gwendon from you by damaging the cogitator and delivering you an idiot willing to incriminate himself out of fear. I even prepared a contingency plan in case he cracks, and by making sure he would blame someone else. Yes, there are a couple of slip-ups, but you must admit, it was a solid attempt overall. Why were you trying to frame her? A backup plan. You always need someone to blame if you make a mistake. He sounds calm, even casual. I could have framed Klein, but that young upstart was already galloping through the ranks too fast and was clearly aiming for my station. Besides, she and her thick-witted subordinates were always right where I wanted them to be. You do not seem to fear punishment. With all due respect to your lordship, I'm an enforcer. I have looked death in the eye, and I will accept your judgment with dignity. There is no bravado in Portico's words, just dry statement and fact. I do want to do the iconoclast just for gameplay, but I think this is a way better option. I want to make him a spy. His lips stretched into a thin smile. Thank you for your high praise. I'm grateful to have had this opportunity to prove my usefulness to you, albeit under unusual circumstances. Porto remains unfailingly polite and completely ignores the seething sourback. That takes care of the traitor. Now, let us proceed with the interrogating the Pipe Warden. Pipe Warden does his best to remain reverently bowed, which paints a rather comical picture, even his formidable height and complexion. He lowers his head, tugged at his beard. Senior Pipe Warden Gwendon, honored to serve, Lord Captain. I'm ready to confess to everything. Why did you fill my bath with blood? I did as the servant of death commanded. What the fuck? She and the Emperor gave the first spinner a sign. That your lordship should be bathed in the blood of poor Alto, my partner. And I, well, he gulps. I was scared, so I obeyed. The first spinner? Are you talking about the vizier? Of the blood-spun web? Yes, that's him. He leads the death cultists, the lot who worship the Emperor by killing. His spinners hunt down heretics, but sometimes they take righteous lives too. Their service is mysterious, fervent, and bloody. If the vizier ordered it, there must have been a reason. The Undying One must have revealed something to him that we are ignorant of. Did you kill your mutant partner? I didn't kill him, and I didn't know he was a mutant. Ordo and I have always gotten along, even if he wasn't much for talking. But then, he shudders, a servant of death came from the darkness, ended him quickly but harshly. She bled him dry and put a black feather in his throat. She told me to pump the blood into the pipes, and then she left. I wanted to confess, but I was afraid she'd come for me if I did. Whom do you mean by this servant of death? A holy slayer in black and crimson and bone. Feared by all, they are quite quiet and merciless as death itself. They come from the shadows to kill because the Emperor commands them so. You've already met the servants of the Bloodspun Web, Lord Captain. Their grim processions is not one the upper decks will soon forget. Some of the Vizier of the Bloodspun Web, I wish to hear an explanation. As you will, Lord Captain. Your Lordship, if I may ask, what happens to me now? I never meant to anger you. I thought I was doing as the Emperor willed it, but here we are. I'm a simple man, I know pipes, and I know them a lot better than all the this people business. My eyes aren't what they used to be, but I can still smell rust and metal. Though, not so much in people's thoughts. You acted as a true servant of the Emperor would. I will have you provided with the best ocular implant for your work. You were deceived into becoming an accomplice. I will not punish you. Give him lashes. Hopefully he will think more carefully about whose orders to follow next time. You drenched the rogue trader in blood. Did you expect to simply walk away afterwards? I think not. Hang the scum. No, I want to give him the ocular implants. But I want to say this first. I hope I can pick this second. I will not punish you. Damn. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, your lordship. I serve you faithfully, and I'll never forget your mercy. Damn, I wanted to give him the implant, bro. Anyway. Vizier of the Bloodspun Web treads lightly and silently as if his old, gaunt body has no weight at all. He whispers weakly, Daman Wilbur, willed to see me, and so I have come. Nod respectfully. I have summoned you to discuss the actions of your apprentices. Vizier responds in an equally respectful manner. Let their deeds be weighed. Investigation has established that the Bloodspun Web orchestrated an attack on his lordship by means of pouring unholy blood into his bath. This affront, the old man murmurs, drowns out Sourback's relentless voice. Daman Wilbur knows the truth, so it was done. For so I did will. What? So it was done, for so I did will. The fuck? It was no affront, but a prophecy. For my hands to divine unsullied martyrs offered their souls and bodies into his imprehensible embrace. I gazed into the red rivers of the smoldering lives, and I did see a roiling, unclean staining the bays, reaching for the anointed Lord of the Ark. In my apprentice's last sighs, I heard the undying one's whisper. He bid me bathe the Daemon in the blood of he who must go, and they who have been righteous. For this will shield the Daemon and strengthen his body against the rolling unclean. I obeyed. Did you claim that you did it because the God Emperor willed you? You killed that man. Who was he? I know not. I only heard the name, and I knew he must go. He listens to an empty space above his shoulder and nods. Yes, we need no more knowledge than that. Fucking idiot. What do you mean they're roiling unclean? He did not reveal, but it is corruption itself. It offends him. It tastes as sweet as fetid waters in old pipes. Its promises are the deception of an enforcer's smile. Its face is elusive. Master at Arms, are you convinced that we have found the culprits? The situation is clear, your lordship. Sourbax makes the sign of the Aquila. What is that? Two-headed eagle sigil that signifies the Imperium. Oh, that. Didn't know they could make a sign for it. Anyway, the Imperium has sent us as a portent. Jesus Christ. The Emperor has sent us a portent. The protector of mankind guides his hand of his holy servants to guard us and warn us of hidden threats. God Emperor, I thank thee for protecting us, even though there are instruments of your protection whose purity and holiness I may never understand. This monkey has drawn attention to the mutant in a way that could not be ignored. A shrewd tactic, if the threat is indeed as great as he believes. Could it be a coincidence that the victim of the ritual was a genetic aberration? Officer around you keep a respectful silence, but you can tell by their faint smiles that they find the very idea of doubting the Emperor's providence absurd. Cult of the Bloodsmith will face no persecution for their deeds. If you think that your tales will save you from punishment, I will not have murderers and bloody ritualists and bloody rituals committed on my ship. Henceforth, the cult is banned and engaged in spectacles. I guess you're fine. Jesus Christ. Sometimes you can't handle the fucking insane people, you know? Vizier freezes, listening to the silence, then nods to nothing. Yes, yes, I will tell him. He turns his sewn-shut eyes to you once more. We are seeds in your hand, giver of life. Whether you keep us or scatter us, we will remain grateful. Be that as it may, we've hit a dead end. We hope that exposing the culprits would lead us to the aberration's lair. The investigation must continue. Let the bloodspun web find the mutants breeding on my ship. We may have overestimated the scale of the problem. No, you can continue the investigation. But no spinner or brave warrior from the Domin's circle can find the roots of the unclean. For it can appear as human and act as human. Only its thoughts betray its vile nature. Only its thoughts are never human. Wise. Anxious silence falls the moment Sourback says this one word. She narrows her eyes. Is it unclean thoughts we need to find? Very well, let Wise find them. He knows how, no matter how badly he wishes that the rest of us forgot about it. Who the fuck is that? Vinny Zachariah, anyway, is a fearsome hunter. When he hunts, the flagship wails. When he thinks my teeth creak. and I can feel pain as if I am young again. But his power is great indeed. He can hunt down our prey. The Choir Master, really? How can the Choir Master of the Astropaths be of use to us? Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems that not everyone here is eager to leave this matter to Master Wise. I already have a Psyker in my retinue. Adira can perform the ritual. That is all, Master at Arms. Your duty is done. I give you leave to wrap up the investigation on it. So how can he be in use to us? The esteemed Zachary Wise can perform the ritual of thought reading. This practice lets him do a cursory examination of the minds of thousands of people in search of certain individuals. A ritual is rare as it is dangerous, and only someone as versed as Master Wise can accomplish such a feat. Has he done something like this before? Once, Lady Theodora made him use his services to expose spies on board, who apparently had been in the employ of Lord Inquisitor Calcazar. Not everyone here is eager to leave this up to him. I would say the one least eager would be Master Wise himself. Last time, his efforts caused severe warp manifestations. The ritual truly is perilous. Not to put too fine a point on it, Wise never nearly destroyed the ship back then. Incidentally, he had given us multiple warnings that it could happen. Lady Theodora ignored him and reaped the results. Oh, why do I get the feeling that I know what will happen next? Yeah, all right. Wrap it up. That is all, Master of Arms. Your duty is done. I give you leave to wrap up the investigation on the officer's deck. My duty will be done when the threat is eliminated. I will brief the enforcers while you consult Firemaster Wise, your Lord Captain. So, we're gonna have our fucking Astropath Firemaster read everyone's minds on the ships. Jesus Christ. Talk to the Choir Master. Alright, well. That's an interesting thing we gotta do here. We did level up here. Let's go ahead and take a look here. So we get the Killzone Stratagem. Okay, so we got Overwhelming Stratagem. Chooses one of the combat tactics areas. For 1 round, all attacks by allies in the area inflict the overwhelmed effect on any enemy that fails a willpower resistance check of 1 round for 1 round. Overwhelmed, this creature suffers 25% ballistic skill, minus 25% fire rate, and 15% weapon skill. Additionally, melee characters have their MP reduced by -3. And ranged creatures try to get behind cover. A creature counts as a melee creature if it has at least 1 melee weapon. This additional effect does not work on some stronger enemies. Stronghold Stratagem. Allies in the area gain 8% armor, cannot be overpenetrated, gain immunity to prone effect, and gain +2 deflection against area attacks. Additionally, they do not suffer injuries for receiving damage. That's pretty cool. Blitz Stratagem. All allies within the range of 10 cells gain the ability to move to that area. This movement does not provoke opportunity of attacks and does not spend MP. Combat Locust Stratagem. For 1 round, the targeted area bonuses are doubled. All other tactical areas are discharged and cannot be used this turn, but can be designated again next round. Trenchline Stratagem. For 1 round, all allies in that area gain +15% cover efficiency and reroll all failed characteristic tests. Additionally, cover in the area does not suffer any damage. So I'm thinking either the Stronghold or the Trench Line. The stronghold is cool. I think we'll take that one, actually. 8% armor, immune to prone, +2 deflection, can't get injuries. It's pretty good. I think we'll take that. Abelard, what do you have? So you already have Follow My Lead. Bulwark. Until the start of the next turn, the Vanguard gains damage deflection against ranged attacks equal to the number of stacks of unyielding beacon on the Vanguard. Additionally, the Vanguard becomes immune to push and force movement effects until their next turn. Defensive stance, the Vanguard gains +% parry until their next turn. Whenever the Vanguard parries an enemy's attack, they immediately make an opportunity attack with a -20 penalty to weapon skill against that enemy. Wall of Rockcrete. Vanguard and all their allies in a 3-cell radius around them gain plus temporary wounds. All affected targets suffer 50% less damage from the next attack. The effect lasts until the start of the Vanguard's next turn. That's crazy. That's actually pretty good. Oh, I gotta sneeze. The Vanguard chooses an ally, forced distraction. Choose an ally. All enemies within a 3-cell radius around that ally must make a willpower resistance test with a -15% or -15 penalty. On a failed test, the Vanguard becomes their priority target. Regardless of the willpower resistance test results, the chosen ally does not provoke opportunity attacks from these enemies, can shoot enemies in melee range, and move as if not within range of attacks of opportunity. That's also really good. Force distraction. All enemies within the area of a 10-cell radius, so it does have a radius. Vanguard forces an enemy in their melee range to immediately attack the Vanguard. All the Vanguard's allies who are wielding melee weapons to the adjacent enemy make attacks of opportunity against that enemy. The enemy suffers fellowship bonus, more damage from these attacks of opportunity, and has -16% penalty to parry and dodge. I think we either go wall or force distraction. But this is everyone within a 3-cell radius gains temporary wounds and takes 50% less damage. Or all people within a 10-cell radius. Oh, all enemies within a 3-cell radius of that. Oh, of that. Okay. So it has a 10-cell target, and then everyone within 3 cells of that target. I get distracted. We'll take the wall for now. And then we will take athletics. Do we need that? Fellowship characteristic, toughness. Oh, yeah, toughness is at 10. Athletics is at 75. Let's go with athletics, make that 85. Is our athletics person here. Bounty Hunter. Okay, we do have Claim the Bounty. Cole the Bold. Piercing Shot, Ensnare the Prey, and Raid. What is Raid? Until the Bounty Hunter's next turn, whenever an ally attacks a target marked as prey, this attack deals 4% additional damage and gains half the Bounty Hunter's current bonuses to critical hit chance and critical damage granted by Hunt Down the Prey. That's cool. I think Raid's pretty interesting. Just additional damage on Argenta is pretty good. Piercing Shot. Bounty Hunter's next attack during this turn will have 100% over penetration and 8% armor penetration. Prey, the next attack that hits a target marked with prey, is also always a critical hit. That's super good. So this is 40% of the usual damage. I think we take the Piercing Shot, actually, here. Take the Piercing Shot there. Master Tactician. You have a ton of shit we can go through. Inspire. Linchpin. Oh, Inspire we already have. Linchpin. Gains +1 resolve for every 5 stacks, but loses half the stacks of tactical advantage rounded up. Till the beginning of the Master Tactician's next turn, the Master Tactician gains a stacks of tactician equal to 20%, 26% of all momentum target gains instead of the usual 20%. Strong point, +2 temporary wounds, plus additional temporary wounds for every 2 stacks. So this is just straight up I can give people health. That's pretty good. What is the one that I have? I give people damage. Okay. And in this one, I give people resolve, or this one I give people wounds, temporary wounds. Marks an enemy. If that enemy is killed by one of the Master Tactician's allies before the beginning of the Master Tactician's turn, that ally gains momentum and +5 to all characteristics until the end of combat. This bonus to all characters does not stack. Oh, all characteristics does not stack. Fervor, the Master Tactician suffers direct damage equal to 20% of their maximum wounds, gains Master Tactician's resolve stacks of tactical advantage, and resets the cooldown of Linchpin Inspire Strong Point. Until the end of the Master Tactician's turns, these abilities can only target the Master Tactician themselves. Okay, finish the job. Can only be used on enemies with the unfinished business effect. This effect is applied to enemies which were attacked by the Master Tactician's allies, but not by the Master Tactician, and have less than 50% of their maximum wounds remaining. Master Tactician immediately attacks the target with a single shot or strike. This attack does not count towards their attack per turn, dealing half the weapon's maximum damage and an additional ballistics bonus damage. So that's not very good because she doesn't have a gun. Funny enough. Okay. I think we take Strong Point. Strong Point is cool. Just giving people straight health. Let's see here. So she is Executioner here. We do have Pain Residence. Exanguation. The Executioner immediately inflicts 5 bleeding on an ally of their choice, including themselves. That ally gains 11% dodge, an additional 3 movement points until bleeding ends for any reason. Gift of Torment. Till the start of the next turn, the Executioner gains bonuses to their parameters for each creature in combat suffering from one of the following from the damage over time effects. Bleeding, Burning, Toxin. That's cool. 2% armor per creature. That's not very good. The Executioner's next ranged attack or psychic staff ability inflicts damage over time effects. Not happening. Not for her. Reckless Abandon. Replaces 15 of their wounds with the same number of temporary wounds until the end of combat. While the Executioner has temporary wounds, all of their melee attacks and damage over time effects do an additional 15% damage. That's pretty good. Executioner's next melee attack forces all enemies hit to run away from the Executioner in a straight line for up to 3 cells. During this movement, the target does not provoke opportunity attacks and leaves a bloody trail on the ground, which remains until the end of combat. Movement through these bloodstains costs the Executioner 0 MP. Interesting. But it's just the one single one. I think I take Reckless Abandon here. It's a pretty good one. You see, you got the Bounty Hunter one. So I'm not really understanding Hot on the Trail. The Bounty Hunter designates an enemy in a 10-cell radius as trailed and finishes the turn. If an ally kills a trailed enemy, Bounty Hunter gains an extra turn after that ally's turn, with all AP and MP remaining from the moment they used it. The Bounty Hunter gains an additional 2 movement points. Cooldown is reset. On the trail is used. For the 3rd time during combat, the Bounty Hunter recovers 1 charge of Hunt Down the Prey. So it's not actually very good. I think I will take Raid. Kill the bounty hunter's neck, or piercing shot would actually be really good. Actually be really good for her, actually. I just realized. Adira, you have quite a bit. Pascal, you also have quite a bit. Heinrich and Jay also have quite a bit. But we'll save those for now. Just because I'm not really looking to level him up. Necessarily. So we're going to go ahead and... Where is the Astropathic Chapel? That's where we're going to go next. But hopefully this cutscene doesn't trigger or anything like that. Hopefully I trigger the cutscene. Okay, good. So we are just going to listen to this nice music. And then next time we're going to be talking to this guy and doing a bit of a mind reading, eh? That'll be fun, huh, guys? A little bit of mind reading. All right, well... Interesting investigation. Bloodspun Web. Crazy kooky guys, you know, who can stop them? You know? Oh, it's just, you know, it's whatever. But yeah, we'll be doing some mind reading, finding the mutants. And I'll see you in the next one.